Good morning. Have a blessed Shavuot holiday to the Jewish community in the US and in Israel. Today is day 605 since 58 hostages have been brutally, barbarically, violently, and inhumanely were kidnapped to the hell called Gaza by the inhumane, barbaric, rapist, modern-day Nazis, monsters, and liars of Hamas, Palestinians like Jihad, Al Jazeera, Red Cross, UN, UNRWA, and just the regular civilians in Gaza, with the financial support and help from Qatar, Egypt, and Iran, and moral support of France, the biggest fans of Hamas, UK, and Canada. We are here every morning, never giving up, to demand basic human rights and common sense. Let our people go, release all hostages, and surrender. We demand one phase, all hostages together in one bus. No one is left behind, and Israel should give up nothing. That's the only deal I'm willing to accept, that we should be accepting. The Witkoff plan talked about 10 hostages who are alive, and then 18 hostages who are not alive, and I think 60 days of ceasefire, and then we will see, or something like that. Israel accepted the plan, and Hamas said, we accept the plan, but we're gonna change a little of the terms. Instead of just a ceasefire, Israel would just end the war. That's what Hamas agreed to. They would release 10 hostages and 18 unalive hostages, bringing to a total of 28 hostages, in return for Israel ending the war. And then what? How are we gonna be getting the other 30 hostages? What pressure would be put on Hamas if Israel end the war and pull all of the troops and withdraw back? What happens then? How are we getting the hostages? By the goodwill of Hamas? You tell me, all these people who wants to end the war so we will get the hostages. Hamas is not playing along with your fucking delusional world that you live in. Hamas is determined to annihilate Israel, and they will do whatever they need to in order to vilify Israel, including lying about killing, including killing their own people, then blame Israel for doing so, and telling the world, CNN, New York Times, BBC, all of them, to run with headlines that vilifying Israel, that make Israel again look bad, and them rushing to publish it without pausing for one fucking second to verify this information. So all the news media running with the headline that Israel killed 20 or 30, everyone sharing different number. They don't even know how many of Gazans in the humanitarian zone while they were receiving humanitarian aid. What the fuck? Why? Once again, you have no fucking logic. Why would Israel go to the length of sending text messages, calling, dropping leaflets, evacuating, creating these humanitarian zones, literally setting up the field, putting up lights, setting up this whole humanitarian zone, putting out desks and some sort of a wall protecting this area, all for the Gazans to be receiving aid, only to then shoot them and only kill 30. That doesn't even make sense to you. Yet you would run with these headlines, and then when the truth come out, and videos showing you that it is Hamas terrorists themselves shooting at these Gazans or throwing rocks at them, then the news medias that are siding with Hamas, then they will just silently correct the headlines. We're not gonna publish an apology and no accountability. And then what we have after that, same as we saw with the lie of the 14,000 babies. What we see after that is that Jews in the US are paying the price for these blood labels against Israel. Once again, is the blood of Jewish people is on the hands of these news media and of the Free Palestine movement. Yesterday in Boulder, Colorado, we see how the Intifada is being successfully globalized. When an Egyptian Muslim man who is here illegally arrived here 2 years ago from Egypt, overstayed his visa, shouting Free Palestine and other anti-Israeli slogan, throwing some Molotov cocktails or fire bombs or whatever that was, setting people on fire. The crime of these people, they were Jews, and probably some of them were not Jews. There were no Israelis in that crowd that practiced the First Amendment to to advocate and to bring awareness for the 58 hostages that we still have in Gaza. This group, Run for Their Lives, are been gathering in many places around the US and in Canada, and I believe in some places in Europe as well, every week, every Sunday, to bring awareness for our hostages, so people would care about them. And in return, you have these fucking monsters throwing Molotov cocktail on them, injuring 8. I believe 2 people, majority of them are elderly, and 2 are severely injured. Prayers for the victims. We do not want condemnation. We're tired of words. We don't give a fuck about your words. And you sending prayers and thoughts for the Jewish community. Oh, poor Jewish community. I don't know how that happened to you. Maybe it's been years of letting these domestic terrorist organization or a movement of Free Palestine go unchecked without holding them accountable for all these calls for violence. Globalist Intifada means exactly that. Terrorist attacks against Jews. That's what it means. And we told you that. And we warned you that's what's gonna happen, and it eventually happened. And it's kind of like almost like clockwise. Every time they're making a lie about Israel, then you have a terrorist attack happening against Jewish people. Enough is enough. We want accountability. We want the Free Palestine movement to be designated as a terrorist organization. I do not want to hear one more word of condemnation. I don't give a fuck about this. It's time to take care of Jews in America. If it was any other group, if it was any other race, there wouldn't be any conversation about it. It's time for actions. Enough with words. And Israel will continue to do whatever it needs to defend ourselves. We are defending ourselves against a ruthless, barbaric organization that are brainwashing the people here in the US. While fucking France is calling for a Palestinian state. That's the only path forward. Maybe, as the brilliant governor and ambassador Mike Huckabee suggested, if you want desperately a Palestinian state, create it in your own fucking land, France. Do not force Israel to surrender to its death. We will continue with the war, as our minister Israel Katz said. Either release all the hostages or accept annihilation. Hamas is being destroyed. They're making up these lies because they're losing power in Gaza. And now that there's another route for Gazans to receive aid, Hamas is no longer in control, and they are being annihilated by the minute with the IDF strikes. So we will continue until there's no one terrorist left. And we will demilitarize Gaza, and we will ensure there's no more threats for Israelis. That means Jews, Christians, and Muslims. We will continue to live peacefully, proudly in our homeland Israel, from the Jordan River all the way to the Mediterranean Sea for eternity. Am Israel will always be. Am Israel Chai forever.